They thought they got away with it. They lied. They manipulated. They walked away without a second thought. Thought you'd break. Thought you'd be stuck in the wreckage, picking up the shattered pieces of your own soul. Thought they could move on like nothing happened. But see, that's where they were wrong. Because actions, they have consequences. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But eventually, eventually, the universe collects its debts. You ever notice how some people do you dirty and then pretend like it never happened? Like if they ignore it long enough, it'll just disappear? They convince themselves that they were justified, that you were the problem, that they had no choice. But deep down, they know. That's why they avoid your name. That's why they look nervous when your name comes up. That's why they overcompensate, acting like they're unbothered, like they're thriving. It's all an act. Because the thing about betrayal, it doesn't just destroy the person being betrayed, it poisons the one who did it. Slowly, silently, eating away at them in moments they least expect. They thought they left you in the dark. But what they don't realize, the shadows follow them now. Every quiet moment, every time they close their eyes, every time they see someone who reminds them of you, that's when it creeps in, the weight of what they did, the memory of what they threw away, the realization that they can't undo it. See, people like this, they don't think long-term. They act in the moment, selfish, reckless, blind. They think winning means walking away first. That power means getting away with it. But real power? Real power is what happens when they finally feel the consequences of their own actions. You may not see it, but trust me, it's coming. Because you can't hurt someone who was real and expect life to reward you for it. You can't take advantage of someone who only wanted the best for you and expect to sleep peacefully at night. That's not how this works. At first, it'll be little things. A creeping sense of unease. A sudden wave of nostalgia they can't explain. A moment where they feel hollow, empty, like something's missing. And then it grows. Because they'll look around and realize something. Life isn't better without you. In fact, it's worse. They'll try to replace you, distract themselves, keep moving like nothing happened, but it won't work. Because deep down, they know. They lost something they'll never get back. They can deny it, pretend like they're fine, but it'll show in their actions, in their words, in the way they can't quite seem to let go of the past. Betrayal always comes with a price, and sooner or later, they're going to pay it. They'll tell the world they don't care. They'll act like it was nothing, like they moved on, untouched, unaffected, like their betrayal was just a necessary step, a choice they had to make. But the truth is a different story. Because guilt isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It lingers. It creeps in when the distractions fade, when the noise dies down, when they're left alone with nothing but their own thoughts. And that's when it starts, the weight, the gnawing feeling in their chest, the unease they can't quite shake. They'll laugh louder, post more, surround themselves with people who tell them they did the right thing. But no matter how much they try to drown it out, it's there, always there. Because deep down, they know. They know what they did. They know they crossed a line they can't uncross, burned a bridge they can't rebuild. And worst of all, they know they can't take it back. You don't need to remind them. Their own mind does that for you. They'll try to rewrite the story, twist the narrative, paint you as the villain, tell themselves you deserved it. They'll come up with 1,000 reasons why they had no choice, why they were right to do what they did. But the thing about lies, even when you repeat them enough times, they never quite erase the truth. And when the silence settles in, when they have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, that truth hits them like a storm. Because betrayal doesn't just leave scars on the betrayed, it stains the betrayer. You ever see someone suddenly obsessed with proving they're happy? Oversharing, overcompensating, making sure the world knows they're thriving? That's not happiness. That's guilt. Because they expected to feel free. They thought cutting you off, hurting you, walking away would make them feel lighter. But instead, they feel the weight of what they've done. They'll hear your name and feel a tightness in their chest. They'll pass by places you once shared and feel a lump in their throat. They'll see something that reminds them of you and feel that split second of regret before they shove it down. But no matter how hard they try to bury it, it resurfaces again and again. Because some losses you don't recover from, and losing someone who was real, who was loyal, who only ever wanted the best for you, that's a loss that haunts you forever. They thought they buried you, thought you'd stay broken, lost, stuck in the wreckage they left behind. But you didn't just survive, you transformed. And now every step you take forward, every win you secure, every moment you thrive without them, it stings. Because they wanted to see you crawl. They wanted you desperate, shattered, begging for their presence. But instead, they have to watch you soar. And that burns more than anything. See, people like them, they don't just want to win. They want you to lose. They don't want peace. They want power. And the moment they realize they never had that power over you, that's when the regret sets in. At first, they'll pretend they don't see it. They'll act unbothered, unaffected. But you'll notice the signs, the way they lurk in the shadows, watching your every move. They'll scroll through your success in silence. They'll hear your name in rooms they never expected. They'll see you glowing, thriving, reaching heights they never thought you would, without them. And it'll hit them like a gut punch. Because your growth isn't just about you. It's a reminder, a mirror showing them everything they lost. They thought leaving you behind meant they won. But now they see it for what it really was, a mistake, a miscalculation, a bet they lost the moment you decided to rise. They'll try to act like it doesn't matter, like your success is irrelevant to them. But if that were true, why are they still paying attention? Why do they still bring up your name? Why do they still watch from a distance, waiting for some sign that you haven't really moved on? Why do they still try to convince themselves that what they did was justified? Because deep down, they know. They know they never expected you to rise like this, never thought you'd become someone they could no longer reach. And now they're stuck in the past, watching you become everything they secretly feared you'd be. Unshaken, unstoppable, untouchable. They wanted to see you crawl, but now all they can do is watch you soar. Regret. It's a slow poison, a weight that never lifts, And now, they're carrying it everywhere they go. They won't say it out loud, won't admit they were wrong. But you don't need their words. You can see it in the way they hesitate before mentioning your name, in the way their smile falters when someone asks about you, in the way they try to act like they don't care. But their actions betray them. Because people like this, they don't just move on. Oh, they try. They convince themselves they did nothing wrong. They rewrite the story in their heads, paint themselves as the victim, twist the past until they can sleep at night. But deep down, they know the truth, and the truth haunts them. They replay the moments in their mind, the last conversation, the way they walked away, the way they thought they could replace you. At first, they felt powerful, in control. They thought they won. But then, silence. No more reactions, no more access, no more second chances. And that's when the weight starts sinking in. See, regret isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with grand gestures or public apologies. No, regret is quiet. It lingers in the background of their mind, creeping in when they least expect it. Late at night, in the middle of a conversation, when they see someone who reminds them of you. They can try to ignore it, but regret doesn't go away. It just builds. Because the people they betrayed, they never truly forget, and neither do they. They'll pretend they're fine, pretend they're happier without you. But deep down, they know the truth. They lost something real, and nothing they do can bring it back. They'll chase distractions, fill their time with meaningless connections, try to drown out the voice in their head, telling them what they already know. They didn't just lose you. They lost their peace. And that's a punishment far worse than anything you could have done to them. Time doesn't erase sins. It doesn't wash away betrayal. It only amplifies it. They think they've moved on, that what they did to you is buried in the past, forgotten like an old story. But the past doesn't stay buried, not when it's built on deception, manipulation, and broken trust. They may not feel it now, maybe not next week, maybe not even next year, but one day they will. Because the weight of their actions isn't something they can outrun. It follows them, lurks in the background. A ghost they can't shake, no matter how hard they try. Every new relationship, tainted by the way they treated you. Every quiet moment, filled with the echoes of what they did. Every betrayal they committed, a mirror waiting to show them exactly who they are. See, people like this think they can escape their past, that if they ignore it long enough, it'll disappear. But that's not how it works. They might change their surroundings, distract themselves with new faces, new experiences, new lies. But deep down they know. They know what they did. They know they crossed a line they can't uncross. And no matter how much they try to forget, the universe remembers. Because karma doesn't work on their timeline. It's patient. It waits. And when it comes, it doesn't knock. It doesn't warn. It wrecks. Maybe it starts small, a failed relationship, a friend who suddenly sees through them, an opportunity that slips through their fingers. At first, they tell themselves it's nothing, just bad luck, a rough patch, a coincidence. But as time passes, they start to notice a pattern. Doors closing, bridges burning, people walking away the same way you did. That's when it hits them. They thought they left you behind, but they never really did. Because what they did to you, it didn't just affect you. It changed them. It turned them into someone people don't trust, someone people eventually see through. Someone doomed to repeat the same cycle over and over again. And the worst part? They'll never find peace, because no matter how much time passes, no matter how many excuses they make, no matter how many times they convince themselves they were right, one truth will always remain. What they did to you will haunt them long after you've forgotten about them. Revenge? You don't need it. You don't have to waste your energy plotting, proving, or punishing. The universe has already taken care of that. See, people like them, they're already trapped in their own web of lies, their own cycle of destruction. They think they've won because they walked away without consequences. But what they don't realize is that the game isn't over. It's just begun. And you win the moment you stop playing. Because the real power isn't in chasing justice. It's in walking away while they stay stuck in the mess they created. They wanted you to drown in anger, to waste your time replaying the betrayal, feeding the resentment, waiting for karma to strike. Because as long as you're looking back, you're not moving forward. But the second you let go, the second you decide their existence no longer matters, that's the moment you win. At first, they won't believe it. They'll wait for a reaction, for you to lash out, for you to come crawling back just so they can reject you all over again. But when none of that happens, when they realize you've truly moved on, that's when the panic sets in. Because your silence is louder than any words. Your success is more painful than any revenge. And your indifference? That's the final nail in the coffin. They lost their control over you. And that's what destroys them. You see, when you let go, you don't just free yourself. You trap them in their own consequences. They'll hear your name and feel a sting. They'll see you thriving and feel the weight of regret. They'll watch as you build a life they no longer have access to. And the worst part? They'll realize too late that they were their own downfall. Not you, not karma, not some grand act of revenge, just them. And while they sit with that realization, you'll be too far ahead to care. Because your life, it won't be about them anymore. No bitterness, no grudges, just freedom. The best revenge was never proving them wrong. It was making them irrelevant. They thought you were replaceable, that they could walk away, find someone new, and forget you like you never existed. So they searched. They moved on fast, like you never mattered. Found someone to take your place, someone to distract them from what they lost. But deep down, they know the truth. No one else feels like you. No one else understood them like you did. No one else gave the way you gave. See, you weren't just a chapter in their life. You were the best part of the story. And now, that chapter is closed. They won't admit it. They'll act unbothered. But with every new person they meet, they'll realize something's missing. Every conversation feels hollow. Every laugh feels forced. Every connection feels temporary. Because when you lose someone real, nothing fake will ever be enough. They thought they were upgrading, thought they could move on without a second thought. But no matter where they go, no matter who they find, they'll always feel it. The absence of you. And it will haunt them. Because what they threw away wasn't just love, loyalty, or friendship. It was irreplaceable. They won't find your patience in someone else. They won't find your depth in shallow people. They won't find your energy in the temporary distractions they chase. And one day, it'll hit them. Maybe in a quiet moment when they're alone. Maybe when they see your name and feel that sting. Maybe when they look at the person they replaced you with and realize they settled. See, they didn't just betray you. They betrayed the only real thing they ever had. And now, all they're left with? A ghost of what could have been. The past doesn't stay buried. They think time will wash away their mistakes, that life will go on like nothing ever happened. But the past? It has a way of creeping back up, slowly, quietly, until it's standing right in front of them. At first, they distract themselves. New people, new places, new routines. Anything to keep their mind from wandering back to you. But it doesn't work. Because late at night, when the world is silent, the memories resurface. The way you cared, the way you stayed, even when they didn't deserve you. The way you gave them chances they'll never get again. They see your absence in their struggles. They feel your silence louder than words. And the worst part? They know exactly why you're gone. They can lie to everyone else, make excuses, rewrite the past, act like they never cared. But deep down, the truth gnaws at them. They threw away something real. And that kind of loss, it never stops hurting. They'll feel it in every failed relationship, every broken friendship, every moment they wish they could undo. They'll see reminders of you in places you used to go, in songs you used to love, in random faces that resemble yours. They'll hear your voice in their thoughts, telling them what they already know. They messed up, and no apology, no excuse, no distraction can change that. They thought they were moving on, but in reality, they're stuck, haunted by their own choices. Because what they did to you will follow them through every regret, through every sleepless night, through every empty connection that never comes close to what they had with you. They might pretend they don't care, act unbothered, laugh louder in public. But behind closed doors, the truth eats away at them. Because you moved on, you healed, you grew. You became someone stronger, wiser, someone they'll never have access to again. And that's what haunts them the most. Not just losing you, but knowing they can never get you back.